Hey everybody, I'm the Drink Pro. Today we're drinking local with Indiana Gold from West Fork Whiskey Company. What's up everyone, Kyle the Drink Pro here with you yet again. As always, thank you so much for liking, subscribing, sharing this video with your friends, commenting, joining me on Patreon or on other social media. Every way you guys support the show means the world to me, and it's how I'm able to keep making this content. I'm really excited today because I'm trying a local whiskey, a limited release that just came out of the West Fork Whiskey Company. Both they and I are located here in Indianapolis, so it's kind of fun to see people that are really close by making cool products, and this is definitely a cool product. The first thing that really stands out to me about this whiskey is the bottle. Now, it may not be the most aesthetically pleasing bottle from a marketing standpoint, but from a whiskey nerd standpoint, it is phenomenal. Tons of information on this bottle, from the char type, to the barrel type, to the age, to the proof, everything you need to know. Another thing that's really fun about this whiskey is it's completely unfiltered. If you look at it, you can actually see sediment in the bottle itself. That's pretty uncommon and it's pretty cool to see. I am a little bit skeptical, however, about how young it is. This is a $60-ish bottle and it's only 26 months old. That's pretty young. It's a 7-barrel blend of 100% American corn whiskey. So it should be classic corn whiskey notes, but it's relatively young and bright. That's what I'm expecting. But when mellow corn's $15, is this going to be 4 times as good? Yes, it's unfiltered. Yes, it's cask strength at 59.3%. But how big of a difference does that actually make? I hope to find out today. One other thing that's worth noting, because I don't think I said this right during my mellow corn review, is corn whiskey by definition has to be 80% corn or more and cannot be in first fill barrels. So these are once filled bourbon barrels that are now being reused for corn whiskey. If corn whiskey is aged in a first fill barrel, then it's actually defined as bourbon and not corn whiskey. They're mutually exclusive categories based on federal regulations. Now that doesn't mean it's not going to be similar. The profiles are going to be extraordinarily similar. Oh yeah, that's a good sound. While I pour this, I'll tell you that this bottle was provided to me by the Naptown Bourbon Club. I got their merch on right now. They're a 501c3 nonprofit charitable organization located here in Indianapolis. They do all kinds of fun events. They do whiskey tastings in person and virtually. They've worked with a lot of local distilleries and local liquor stores to do barrel picks as well. So lots of cool things coming out of the Naptown Bourbon Club. They've been with me from the start. They're great people. I hope you support them as much as they have been supporting me. Now, like I said, I'm a little skeptical about this one. 4 times the price of mellow corn. Yeah, it's local. I like supporting local, and I like West Fork whiskey generally. I like what they're doing out there. But it's always a little hard to say, oh yeah, I'm going to support them even if I don't like their product. So let's see if the product matches the price and the proof and all of the other elements that went into this 7-barrel blend. Now this to me is a little bit more herbal than something like mellow corn. But the proof does not really show up, which I'm actually happy about. When it's something this young, if it's going to be high proof, I expect it to sting my nostrils and be pretty aggressive and unpleasant. But this is pleasant. This is a little herbal. Definitely sweet, definitely some citrus notes in there. A lot of that young, bright quality you expect from young whiskey, but it doesn't have the astringency. It doesn't have that new makey characteristic that I talk about a lot, where it just smells like burning alcohol. This is really nice. This is really pleasant on the nose. There's no mistaking it as corn whiskey. It's obviously corn forward, though. It smells like corn. It smells like the tassels from the corn, if you've ever detasseled corn. Honestly, I may even get a little bit of a tobacco, like a sweet tobacco note, but it's very subtle. You can start to see a lot of different notes that have begun developing, but may not have had enough time to be pulled from these barrels in only 26 months. I get a little bit of mint and just a hint of clove as well. The spice notes are relatively present on this, especially for how young it is. I'm surprised how much complexity and nuance is in this pour. Not much woodiness or nuttiness, that's not surprising. I'm getting a little bit of apple and maybe some citrus, some lemon. Yeah, this is definitely in my wheelhouse in terms of profile. I like the sweetness, I like the brightness, I like the fruit. Let's see if it lives up to the nose on the taste. But before I get into that, I want to say I had a blast doing my last live stream where I tasted all 14 Stag Juniors. That was kind of a lot. I got some comments about that, people saying, you didn't really get good tasting notes. Well, no kidding. I did 14 of them in a row. No way I'm going to get good tasting notes. I did the best I could. But if you're in my Patreon, I'm going to start a series where once a week I'll be releasing individual tasting notes for each of the Stag Junior batches. Now, you can get those if you're at any level on the Patreon. As low as $3 a month, you can get content like that. And you also have access to my monthly live streams, which are in addition to the standard weekly live streams that are for everybody. Oh, interesting. Wow. Very herbal, very almost grassy, this super grain forward. You know, I definitely noted that there was an earthy quality. I think I said it was sweet tobacco on this. The earthiness really comes through on the palate. Earthy, grainy, even almost a grass quality. You can taste like the corn tassels. I can smell them, I can taste them. I'm surprised how close this feels to the grain itself. And going back to the nose after tasting it, I almost get like the fruit of a lemon. A lot of times I talk about lemon zest with that bitterness and that sharpness, but this is the fruit. This is the sour, sweet sour component of the lemon. That's really unique. I'm getting that on the nose after tasting. Yeah, the more I taste it, the sweeter it gets. The sweetness is becoming more and more prominent right off the bat. When you first put it in your mouth, the corn syrup kind of narrow sweetness. And then it very quickly evolves in the palate and becomes more of that earthy note, that grassy note, into this very long finish, honestly. It's quite a finish. But it stays in that earthy world. A little bit of pepper on the tongue as well. It never really turns into a woodiness. I feel like with some time in a barrel, this would make that shift, and then you get this really earthy, woody combo that you don't really get a lot in corn whiskey. Yeah, the heat shows up on the palate too. I didn't smell it at all on the nose, but you can tell it's higher proof when you taste it. It's got that zing to it. Yeah, it's almost like an herbal tea quality in the mid palate. The more I keep sipping on it, it goes like sweet corn, herbal tea, a little bit of leather, a little bit of coffee, almost to the woodiness on the finish, but mostly just peppery on the tongue. Well, I think it's kind of fun to compare that to mellow corn. Mellow corn is the polar opposite of this. Yes, it's got that corn note, obviously, but it's super sweet, super simple. It's vanilla caramel. It's a very classic bourbon direction. This is the opposite. This is herbal, but not bitter herbal. It's herbal and grassy and really a unique pour. I gotta say, like, this is not like any corn whiskey I've ever tasted. You know, they did a limited run of this. I think there were only 127 bottles, and out of 7 barrels, that's a pretty small yield. But when you're doing something at cask strength, you're not filtering it. You're just giving you exactly the same experience as you would get thieving out of a barrel. That's an exciting thing to do. And it's also exciting that this is so unique. This is not like any corn whiskey I've ever had. I'm not sure it's like any whiskey I've ever had. I've never had something that was this herbal and grassy without being bitter. It has the sweetness, then goes herbal, grassy, and then pepper on the finish. That's exciting. That's a pretty unique pour. Now, is it $60 exciting? It depends. I don't think this is one I would reach for very often. This is not like a daily drinker. This is not something I crave, but it's really cool and unique and is tasty. So I would say yes, I would buy this at $60. Actually, I did buy this at $60. This is not the only bottle in this house. But I think I'm gonna hang on to it because of its uniqueness. It's a cool pour. It's a pour I'd wanna share with friends. If somebody came over and they said, I wanna try something herbal, I've got the answer for them. If you want something grassy, herbal, unique, give it a shot. Thanks so much, Naptown Bourbon Club, for providing me with this bottle. I gotta get going. You all keep drinking like professionals. Cheers.